To be thorough, I wanted to go over the button condition. I'll link this with my Reverb and eBay listings for this device. We'll power it on real quick. Okay, and now we'll show the contrast. It'll be less defined when we go lower, and then it'll go more clear. Okay, there's a card in there, so we'll show the card presets, and then we'll switch back to internal. Yep. And then the patch buttons, some of them will stick. These are the main buttons you're gonna use most of the time. And they trigger everything fine. You know, like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then these are the bank ones. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and then let's see here. Okay. So to show that the arrows work, see it's over right there. The arrow, we'll move that. And then, okay, so we're in the MIDI. This will show that these work. And then to show the value, change the MIDI channel. And now the main part that I wanted to highlight is these buttons over here. Some of them are like, okay. Some of them you have to press it like a certain way. And some of them, they don't really click when you press them, but you can still trigger the function, if you know what I mean. So we'll go to tune. Tune clicks fine. MIDI, see how it doesn't click, but it gets you to the MIDI options. Data transfer, doesn't click, but it gets you to the options. And then copy, see it'll trigger the function. To do undo, we'll have to go and change a value real quick. So we'll have to change the balance to something else, and then we'll click undo, and it goes back to 72. All right, compare, and then we'll exit. That shows exit works. We'll press edit, and then we'll exit, so that shows edit works. Write, see it's asking if we want to finish writing it. We'll just exit that. And now to do enter, we'll have to go to an option that requires us to press enter. So we'll go to data transfer, bulk load, and then I'll press enter. See, now it's asking if I want to finish that, but obviously we just showed that the enter button works. We'll go to exit, which goes to the main screen. Okay. Shift, to show that shift works, the only thing I ever use shift for is if you're far in a value system, like say MIDI, no. Say we'll go to edit. Say we'll edit like this right over here. And then we click on patch and get further in, so we have to press enter right there. The way to test shift is, see how we're a couple options deep? Exit will only bring you one way back to the main stuff. But if you press shift exit, now you're way back to the main screen. So that's a test of the shift button. And then the last button to test would be chase. See how it lights up? Yeah. So these buttons, like I said, you can like trigger the function of them, which is the essential part. But I wanted to warn you ahead of time that, like I said, some of them you have to press a certain way, maybe a certain angle, and some of them don't like click traditionally the way the majority of these over here do. But you can get the function. This is a great module I personally love it. I'm moving, so I need to clear out a lot. It's not in like, you know, incredible aesthetic condition, but it is, you know, a classic device from 40 years ago. And then just to go over it, this card right here, I literally like I think I spent like an hour and a half learning how to load this with like tons of sounds. I think there's like 1,024 if my math is right, but there's literally like each bank has like 64. Like each bank in position has 64. So if you go to A1, that has 64. And then you go to 2, that has 64. You go to 3, and then 4, that has 64. And then, you know, B, every position on there has 64 too. So, and I tried to pick sounds that were really good. Like I put like, you know, digital versions of analog sounds. I put like, you know, great, you know, choral ones, great flutes, all sorts of stuff from like vintage third-party creators way back in the day that were just archived online. All right, I think that kind of sums it up, and I hope this was helpful.